There's nothing like Belmont Stakes Racing Festival weekend and a special new wager this year, a two-day pick six. 2 stakes on Friday, 4 on Saturday, Belmont Stakes Day, a 20-cent minimum bet, 15% takeout, and this is a special separate pick six, so mandatory payout. So if nobody has 6, we'll pay the highest number of winners. That's Friday and Saturday, a special new pick six, and you know the way you want to play it. You want to play it through NYRA Head on over to NYRABets.com for more information, and keep in mind we still have the $200 bet 200 get 200 sign up, but a special $25 money back win bet on the Belmont Stakes Shorts finish second or third to get your money back. Text BET bet to 80925 to get started. Let's take a look at the first leg of the new two-day Belmont Stakes Pick 6. That's the True North. An incredible race to be run on Friday's card. Now, the horse to beat, Catalina Cruiser. He's the 5-2 morning line favorite, and he was absolutely brilliant out in California for trainer John Sadler, winning his 4 starts and winning them quite easily and running some pretty gaudy Beyer speed figures. He went in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile at Churchill Downs. He shipped out of California for the first time, 4-5 favorite, and he bombed. And that's always the question. John Sadler does a fantastic job in California, but his horse have not shipped that well. Now, we know, of course, he won the Breeders' Cup Classic, but we'll see if Catalina Cruiser can ship. I can't believe he's shipping him all the way across country for his 5-year-old debut in 2019, and he's not going to have him ready to roll. He has to be on your tickets. Is Whitmore on your tickets? Now, Whitmore, here he is winning. The same day of that race, we showed the Pat O'Brien, actually, for Catalina Cruiser. Whitmore won our four-go up at Saratoga. This was some ride by Ricardo Santana, coming through on the inside and getting it done. Whitmore needs pace, needs to take advantage of it, but, man, is he a good horse. He did not run well in the Churchill Downs last time, though. He had no punch. He made his move around the turn, did not finish. That was 7, though. This is 6.5, and maybe he's more effective at 6.5. But, frankly, out of his last race, and this is the four-go where he beat City of Light, who came back and won that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile in the Pegasus, Duchère finished ahead of him running 4th. I think Duchère is a major player in this race, and he's actually going to be my top choice. But there are many ways to go. Can Stand the Man and or Nicodemus, who ran so well in the Westchester, can they cut back to 6.5 furlongs and be effective? They're both players. How about Strike Power for Mark Hennig? He showed signs of 3-year-old, didn't put it together, but he had a huge comeback win at Gulfstream Park at this 6.5 furlong distance. He's a horse who may need the lead. They need to send him and send him hard. Recruiting ready. Gold for the King. Mr. Dougie fresh. This is a loaded race. Myself, Duchère, and Catalina Cruiser, my top 2. Nicodemus and Whitmore would be my backups in this special two-day pick 6. Let's go to the second leg, and it's the Belmont Gold Cup. 2 miles. This is the 10th race on Friday's card. We've got 3 coming from Europe. They're an odd threesome. 2 of them appear to be synthetic horses that have never done any real significant running on the turf. I think the U.S. horses are going to run well in here. Now, the horse to beat, the favorite Arklow. We'll show him finishing a close second behind Channelmaker in the Grade 1 Man of War. And Channelmaker, one of the players in the Manhattan on Saturday. Arklow is going to try to stretch it from 1 3/8 to 2 miles. He's been effective at 1.5 miles. It's a big gap, though. Got to move to 2 miles. It's not so easy. If he can make that stretch effectively, and you're going to see him making that big run in those green Donegal silks, and he gets narrowly beaten in here, and that's obviously why Brad Cox thinks more distance will suit him fine. He runs as well as he did in the Man of War, and he is going to be very tough to beat in this race. He has to be on my tickets, though he is my 3rd choice. My top choice, Bill Mott's Red Knight. You know why? Because he's won at the 2-mile distance, and he did a stake down in Florida. This is the H. Allen Jerkins. We run it at 7 furlongs in the dirt at Grade 1. They run it 2 miles on the turf. The Chief would appreciate that. He ran second in the Elkhorn last time, and he may have moved a little soon. But I love the idea. This horse has just kept improving for Bill Mott. He improves with distance, and we know that he just can keep on rolling the mile. I would love to see the New York bred get it done, the Belmont Gold Cup. He is my top choice. My second choice, let's head to Hoppergarden in Germany and take a look at Ratal, who ran very well at Ascot 3 starts back when he finished 4th behind Old Persian, a very good runner. Things fell apart for him in Newmarket in his last start, but he is a very, very talented runner, and I think he could be dangerous in this race. Ratal, here he is winning at 2 miles. Last time out at Hoppergarden, he's the Euro I want to use in this race. He's the unknown factor. We know he's capable of running some good figures and doing it in very, very long races. So I'm going to use Ratal, and this is quite a long video. We're looking there at him, and he got the job done. He's also got some speed. He can be forwardly placed. There may not be a ton in here. My main 3 in here would be Red Knight, Arklow, and Ratal. A little Canisar who finished second with a good trip in this race last year. We know he can handle 2 miles as well. Let's fast forward now, and let's go to Saturday's card. The third leg of the special two-day pick six, that's the Woody Stevens presented by Mohegan Sun, and this is just a sensational race. Let's start the discussion with Mind Control and Much Better. Much Better is going to try to be the speed in here. He was disappointed in the slop last time. He's also got to deal with Landeskog and Complex deal we'll get to. Mind Control will get some pace to run at, and you can't knock him. He must be on your tickets. He is Mr. Consistent. Won our Grade 1 hopeful last year. Yeah, he had a bit of a trip and didn't run well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but other than that, he has never run a bad race. And Mind Control, he's kind of the horse to beat in this race, but he is going to face some serious challengers. Wendell Fong, who's improving, wasn't the slop. Nitrous, who ran well in the Bachelor last time, will try to stretch out to 7 furlongs, but a very, very tough two-pronged challenge from Chad Brown as well. Complexity is back. Yes, he bombed in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but he has been training so well up in Saratoga. They're going to take a shot in the Grade 1 Woody Stevens off of the layoff. Complexity's Champagne last year was an absolutely sensational effort. Just look at how impressive he was in this race. Cutting a very fast pace, 45 and 1 to the half, and he was drawing off in the late stages. Code of Honor made a nice run to him, but he was picking up the pieces on some tired horses. We know Code of Honor, who was placed second in the Derby, is a very good horse. Complexity is very good, but he's going to have to show he can rate and do it off the layoff against this top-class field. That's a real question mark, because he's not getting the lead from Landeskog and Much Better in this race. If he can successfully rate and come back and find form off the layoff, he's a big player, but Chad Brown's another one in here, and that's Honest Mischief, who ran a huge race to break his maiden at Keeneland last time. And for Chad Brown to go into a Grade 1 in the dirt off of a maiden win, he must be very, very high on this horse. That race has come back, if not every bit as good, maybe better than the 97 buyers suggest. I'm not sure the figure couldn't have been over 100 in that race. We have seen a number of horses run very well out of it. I like Honest Mischief in the Woody Stevens presented by Mohegan Sun. I'm using Honest Mischief, I'm using Complexity, and I'm using Mind Control 149, race number 9. The Runhappy Mile. There is no better race on this card. There is no better race in this country than this year's Runhappy Mile. I could spend an hour on it, but let's just talk about a few of the players here, and let's start our conversation with McKenzie. McKenzie is the router turning back. You got the routers turning back, you got the milers, and you got the sprinters stretching out. McKenzie was absolutely dazzling in the Alley Sheba. Now he's beaten a field not as good as the one he's facing here, but he's a very good one-turn horse. He broke his maiden at one turn, and his only other race at one turn was the 7-furlong Malibu, which he won by almost 5 lengths. This was a huge performance. Bob Baffert's had success in this race like he's had in so many other races. And McKenzie, cutting back to a one-turn mile, may be very marginally the horse to beat, but he's going to have to deal with some seriously talented racehorses, including Matoli and Promises Fulfilled, who finished 1-3 in the Churchill Downs. And Matoli is a brilliant racehorse. He's 7 for 10, and he has won 6 straight races. And he showed last time he can do 2 things. He can stretch his speed out to 7 furlongs, and he doesn't need the lead to win. And he may have to deal with Promise Fulfilled in the front end. He may have to let that one go and stalk behind him. Can he stretch it out to a mile? Well, if he's as good at a mile as he was at 6 furlongs and 7 furlongs, he's going to take a ton of beating in this race, and I think you have to respect him and use him. Promises Fulfilled. Dale Romans won this race with Shackelford in an upset. He'll try to do it again. How about Forenzi Fire, who is 3 for 3 at Belmont, looking to go 4 for 4? He was brilliant in the Runhappy. What better way to prep for the Runhappy Mile than to win the Runhappy? He was absolutely loaded, and he won as the rider pleased. Irad Ortiz back aboard for this race, looking to make it 4 for 4, but he'll have to do it against some much tougher horses for trainer Jason Service. I wouldn't put it past him, but this is a tough spot. Todd Fletcher's got 2 in here as well. Cole Front, who's won 3 straight races, including the Godolphin Mile, and Prince Lucky, who's looking to put that bad effort in a wet track behind him because he was brilliant earlier in Florida. Their players in here, I like Thunder Snow. Cutting back from the Dubai World Cup's 1.25 miles to a mile. I'm going to take a cutbacker, and I'm going to take him to Price. But I would use McKenzie and Thunder Snow as my main 2. I'd have Matoli somewhere, but I'd even want to have some C's with the likes of Prince Lucky, Forenzi Fire, and maybe even Cole Front. This is a sensational race and the 4th leg of the 2-day pick 6. Let's turn our attention to the 5th leg. That's the Manhattan. The Manhattan, Chad Brown's got 4 in here, and he is going to have a very tough hand in this Manhattan, starting with Bricks and Mortar, who's on his way to being a leading contender at this point for Horse of the Year. And if he wins this Manhattan, he's probably already sealed an Eclipse Award for the older turf horse in the country. He just keeps on running. He's relentless. He runs down Kerbin, who's an improving horse for Kieran McLaughlin. Can he be as effective at 1 mile and 1/8? That's a question. He can be forwardly placed. And can Raging Bull, who gets blinkers, and that's been a big move for Chad Brown in graded stakes in the turf. Can Raging Bull step forward? Can he do it 1.25 miles? He's got to run a faster race, but Bricks and Mortar is the deserving favorite and the horse to beat and must be on your tickets. How about Channel Maker? Is he going to be on your tickets? That's the question. He's going to be on mine somewhere. You know I love Channel Maker. And here he is winning our Man of War last time, cutting back from 1 mile and 3/8. But you know what? I'm not worried about this. There's an argument he could have won this race last year. He's one of 2 horses coming back from last year's Manhattan that both had trouble trips. We'll talk about the next one briefly after we talk about Channel Maker, but I'm not going to put it past him. Joel Rosario, he fits this horse like a glove, and he times the move so well. Channel Maker is absolutely a player in this 1.25 mile race, and he is the most likely thorn in the side of the Chad Brown foursome. Chad Brown did win with Olympio in an upset in the soft turf of the Fort Marcy, but I think I prefer Robert Bruce out of that race. Too close, didn't like the bog. He could have won this race last year. He got buried in traffic. He won the Arlington Million 1.25 miles. He's my tepid top choice. My main 2 in this race are Robert Bruce and Bricks and Mortar. I'm going to have Channel Maker in there as well. Raging Bull, and my long shot's Channel Cat. I've always liked this horse. Think he might want more distance, and he's going to have to take a step forward. But Robert Bruce and Bricks and Mortar, Channel Maker, my main 3 in the 2-day pick 6. The last leg, it's the Belmont Stakes, the 150th running, 51st running, the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. Let's start off, and we'll talk about War of Will, where the Preakness here he is beating Everfast. He's back to play. Bourbon Wars coming out of the Preakness as well. I think you have to use War of Will. You have to respect him. He is the kind of horse that shows up. He's got the early speed. He's got to be on your ticket somewhere. He's not my top choice, but you've got to give this horse a ton of respect. Everfast, well, this is one of the few races the Belmont Stakes Dale Romans has not pulled the upset in. He seems to have upset so many of the big races around the country. War of Will's on my tickets, but he is not my top choice in this race. Spinoff's a long shot I'm going to use in here. Todd Pletcher's got 2. You have to respect Todd's horses. Spinoff and Intrepid Heart, he's just done so well in this race, but I like Tacitus. And if I was going to single here in this sequence and take a shot, I'd single Tacitus. Here was his impressive win, the Wood Memorial. He overcame that early trouble, and he ran down Tax. Now, I don't think there's a bad long shot in Tax. I believe he'll run a lot better in this fast track in the Belmont Stakes back in New York for trainer Danny Gargan. I could use him as a fringe player, but I love Tacitus in here. Another Tappet, looking to be the 4th recent Tappet to win this race. And I think Belmont did the right thing, skipping the Preakness with him. He ran well in the Kentucky Derby with a less than terrific trip. And Tacitus is going to be very tough in the 151st Belmont Stakes, presented by Naira Bets. And remember, 2-day pick 6 is a special bet. 20-cent minimum, 15% takeout, and mandatory payout. If nobody has all 6, you'll get paid for 5 if you have 5. These are the 6 races in the sequence, and you want to bet it through Naira Bets. We have our regular bet 200, get 200 promotion, but a special $25 money back Belmont Stakes win bet if your horse finishes 2nd or 3rd. Text BET to 80925 to get started through Naira Bets. Make all your plays through Naira Bets, and be sure to play the special 2-day pick 6 on Belmont Stakes Racing Festival weekend.